Commander Zextar of the Galactic Monitoring Council stared at the holographic display with growing unease. The steady stream of electromagnetic signals that had emanated from the third planet of the Sol system for the past 2 centuries had simply stopped. "Run the scan again," he ordered, his 4 eyes narrowing as his subordinate, a nervous Quillan technician named Pip, frantically manipulated the console. "Sir, I've run it 17 times. The result is the same. Earth has gone completely silent." The command center of Station Omega-7 buzzed with activity as word spread. Earth, the noisy, chaotic world of the humans, had fallen silent. No radio transmissions, no quantum communications, no subspace chatter. Nothing. Across the galaxy, similar reactions rippled through every civilized species. The Vorthak Empire's War Council convened in emergency session. The peaceful serenity. Collective's meditation chambers filled with worried whispers. Even the ancient crystalline hierarchs, who measured time in millennia, took notice. For most species, the humans had been an amusing curiosity. They were young, barely having achieved faster-than-light travel 50 years ago, but they possessed a peculiar trait that both fascinated and terrified the elder races. They simply refused to die quietly. Ambassador Threlak of the Hegemony remembered the first time he had encountered human entertainment. The violent films, the competitive sports where injury was commonplace, the literature filled with stories of impossible odds overcome through sheer stubbornness. He had dismissed it as primitive barbarism then. Now, as he watched his aide's tentacles tremble while reviewing Earth's last transmissions, he wondered if they had all made a terrible mistake. What were their final communications? Threlak asked. "Remarkably calm, sir. Scientific data exchanges, routine commercial transactions, even something called memes right up until the moment of silence." The ambassador's gill slits fluttered nervously. In his 300 years of diplomatic service, he had learned to read between the lines of interspecies communication. When the warlike Kreeth went silent, it meant they were preparing for battle. When the paranoid Zephyrians went dark, they were hiding. But when humans went quiet, "Send a message to the High Council," Threlak commanded. "Tell them we need to convene an emergency session. Something is coming." On the edge of the galaxy, automated listening posts that had monitored deep space for eons began detecting anomalies. Dark matter fluctuations, gravitational distortions, and something else. A vast, creeping silence that consumed everything in its path. The Devourer Collective had been a myth, a story told to frighten young civilizations into cooperating with galactic law. Ancient texts spoke of a machine intelligence from beyond the galaxy's edge that consumed entire star systems, converting all matter into more of itself. Every few million years, the stories claimed, it would awaken and feed. Dr. Yenna Vosch, the galaxy's foremost xenoarchaeologist, had spent her career proving the Devourer was real. Her warnings had been dismissed by the Council for decades. Now, as she stood in the emergency assembly hall, she found no satisfaction in being right. "The pattern matches historical records from the predecessor civilizations," she announced, to the hushed gathering of representatives from 47 species. "Every 4.7 million years, entire sectors go dark. The pattern moves inward from the galactic rim, consuming everything." A young Zephyrian delegate raised his crystalline hand. "But surely, with our combined fleets, our technology, the predecessors, had technology that makes ours look like stone tools?" Dr. Vosch interrupted. "They failed. Every advanced civilization in this galaxy has failed." "Then why?" boomed General Kravex of the Vorthak, his scarred carapace gleaming under the chamber lights. "Are the humans silent? If extinction approaches, shouldn't they be screaming for help, fighting, doing something characteristically human?" The question hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Everyone knew about human nature. They were the species that had looked at a planet covered in poisonous atmosphere and said, "Let's terraform it." They were the ones who, upon discovering they were the weakest species physically, had immediately begun genetically enhancing themselves and building increasingly powerful war machines. When the hegemony had threatened them with orbital bombardment unless they submitted to galactic law, the humans had somehow managed to steal and reverse engineer 3 dreadnoughts before agreeing to negotiations. Commander Zexitar, monitoring the discussion from his station, felt a chill run down his spine as a new transmission came through on the emergency frequency. "Attention, Galactic Council," came a calm, distinctly human voice. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Coalition. We apologize for the communications blackout, but we've been rather busy." The entire assembly fell silent. Admiral Chen's image materialized in the center of the chamber, a small, unassuming human female with graying hair and tired eyes. "We received Dr. Vosh's research approximately 6 months ago through our intelligence networks," Chen continued. "We've been preparing." "Preparing?" General Kravik sputtered. "Preparing how? You've been silent for weeks." Chen smiled. That peculiar human expression that somehow managed to be both comforting and terrifying. "We've been building. You see, we had an advantage you didn't consider. We're the only species in the galaxy that actively studies extinction events. We've made it our specialty." The hologram shifted, showing massive construction projects in the outer Sol system, kilometers-long vessels that dwarfed anything in the galactic fleet, weapons platforms that seemed to bend space around them, and something else, a vast network of devices surrounding Earth like a metallic web. "While you've all been governing established civilizations for millennia, we've been practicing survival. Every war, every natural disaster, every near-extinction event in our history has taught us one thing. When death comes for you, you don't run. You don't hide. You adapt, you innovate, and you fight back with everything you have." Dr. Vosh leaned forward. "Admiral, with respect, the Devourer has consumed civilizations far more advanced than ours." "True," Chen acknowledged. "But they were comfortable, established. They had something to lose." Her expression hardened. "We're humans, Doctor. We've been staring extinction in the face since we climbed down from the trees, and we've gotten very, very good at surviving." On the edge of the galaxy, the first tendrils of the Devourer Collective encountered something unexpected. The humans had built their weapons not to fight the enemy, but to fight like the enemy, adapting, learning, evolving with each encounter. For the first time in 4.7 million years, the galaxy's silence was broken not by the sound of consumption, but by the defiant roar of a species that had finally found an extinction event worth their attention. The humans had gone silent not in fear but in preparation, and the galaxy would never be the same.